I can't recommend it enough. It's like my second home. I love it so much. What a place. What a place. What a great place. The food in Germany, wow, it is so good. Ugh, I think one of my favorite things to do in Germany is just go grocery shopping. I hate grocery shopping in America. It stresses me out. Like, they're always busy. I don't know, like, it's just not a fun thing to do. It's like a chore that you have to get done. But in Germany, it's like, wow, what new brand of yogurt do I get to try this week? And it's just fun, like, the food is so good. Like, the bread quality is so much better. The dairy quality is so much better. So, like, everything that you get from the store, you know it's pretty much going to taste good. And then, of course, my favorite food is chocolate. And there's so much good chocolate in Germany, so much good chocolate. I actually worked at a chocolate factory, too, in East Germany. So, love the chocolate. The bread, I said the bread is really good. The cheese is also so good. That's like the best thing. You can't beat it, like a little brötchen, like one of those little bread rolls with some nice cheese and some nice jam. It's nothing better. It's so good. One of my favorite, like, hot meal type of things, they have this thing called knödel, which is like a potato dumpling type thing you eat with gravy. Love it so much. It's delicious. Usually have it with like a meat on the side as well. Very tasty. I love rotkohl. It's just like red pickled cabbage. But it is so good. Cabbage is also one of my favorite foods, which means me and Germany are a great fit because they enjoy a lot of cabbage as well. But rotkohl is probably my favorite cabbage. It's pretty much all good. I mean, I'm not a big sausage person, so I don't really like bratwurst as much. But even I will I'll have some sausage too because it's good, even though I don't like it that much. But German sausage is a step up. The pretzel, like the stereotypical German food, like brezel, the pretzels and everything, they're good too. It's hard to find like a bad food. I don't know, it's just a lot of good stuff. They have, I can't remember what it's called. Oh man, they have this like salty yogurt drink that it's very common in like just like any store where you pop in, or like a Dönerladen, just like a little shop where they sell Döner kebabs and stuff. They'll have it in like the little fridge there for you to grab. And I'm not a fan. It's not bad, but something about it I just don't like as much. I don't know. There's this one word that every time I feel like when I first moved to Germany and I'd meet someone and they're like, "Oh, you're learning German? Say this word." And it's the German word for squirrel. And it's Eichhörnchen. But that word is so hard to pronounce when you're first learning it, so it sounds like Eichhörnchen. It just sounds terrible. But on the flip side, it's a little difficult for some German speakers to say the word squirrel, and it comes out sometimes being like Squirrel. And so, like there's the flip side to that word in English and in German. It's a double-edged sword there. The whole country of Germany is just absolutely beautiful. Wherever you are, in the south, in the north, like in southern Germany, they've got these beautiful mountains. You're close to the Alps there. And just everywhere, it's very, like, there's rolling hills. There's just beautiful, beautiful green fields. In the far north, you've got the North Sea. And I think it's the Baltic Sea on the other side of the little Denmark peninsula. It's just a beautiful, beautiful country. And the people are so just great. If you're learning German too, and if you try to speak German to the German people, they're so appreciative of any efforts that you make to try to speak their language, to learn their culture. And even if you don't speak German, a lot of Germans understand English, and they're just very friendly. The German culture, I absolutely adore their love for punctuality. I grew up in a family where it's like, you have to tell people that an event starts 30 minutes before it actually starts to get there on time. But in Germany, people are there like 5 minutes early. That's like punctual for them. And that's me. Like, I love that, being on time to things and, doing what you say you're going to do. The Germans, they definitely do that. And I love, love, love that. I love how honest and kind of just like straight up with you German people are. Like, if they don't like something, they're just like, no, like, I don't like that. And it's not in a rude way at all. It's just kind of like let's not beat around the bush and say that we like something when we don't, just like cut all that out and just be straight to the point. But people are okay with that because that's the culture, and they're used to people being very straight up and very honest. And I love that too. It's like, yeah, like I could just say like, yep, that's not for me, and like it's fine, and you don't have to give an excuse or anything. It's just very like, they understand, like, yep, people have opinions, and like we can be straight up about it in a polite and kind way. But Yeah, I love that. I think it's really cute how this is like a German stereotype, but living with a host family as an exchange student, I found it to be very true. Just about how prepared Germans are for the weather. Like, I would leave the house without a jacket, and my host mom would be like, "What are you doing? Where's your jacket? Like, you got to be prepared in case it rains or if it gets cold and everything." And I was like, "Nah, it looks fine. Like, I'll be fine. I'm okay being a little cold." And like, "What? I don't understand that." And my host sisters would like leave the house with, they always had an umbrella. They always had like their jacket just in case, a little like thing to put on their bike in case it rains, always prepared for the weather. Whereas I'm like, I hate carrying an umbrella. Like, no, thank you. But it's just one of those things that you see it and you're like, oh, that's so like German, and it just makes you smile. So I love that. This is more of like a language thing, but I love how just like the different sounds that you make when you're like or huh in German. People will be like or they'll say like, if you're like, instead of saying no to something, like the German word for no is nein, but they'll just say no, which is like N with an O with an umlaut, and no, and I just love that. That's one of my favorite things too. You're just talking to someone like, hey, you want to go get lunch? And they're like, no. It's one of those German words that just makes you smile. If I had one like recommendation for people that are excited about the German culture or the German language, it's get into the music. German has some excellent music. Great musicians. They've got artists like Crow, like Mark Forster, Andreas Borani, just lots of really good, like more like alternative rock, pop style music that I feel like people, when they think of German, they don't necessarily think of like, oh, I bet Germany has great music, but it really does. There's a lot of really, really good German music out there that I feel like the American culture hasn't explored as much. Like, I feel like there's a lot of other cultures with the, you'd associate music more with that. Like Spanish speaking cultures are like, oh yeah, Spanish music. But German music is great, and there's a lot of it, and I highly recommend. Yeah, what not to do. This I learned the hard way. The Germans, they're very they follow rules. Like, if there's a rule, then they're gonna follow it. I mean, not always, but like much more likely with smaller things like jaywalking, for example. Just crossing the street when like the little crosswalk sign is not, green for you to go. And one time I was just on my bike, just biking along, and there was no one, like the street was deserted. There was just this one old guy across the street waiting to cross. But I was like, I'm in a hurry to get to school, like, or something like that. Or I was going home from school. I can't remember. Probably going home after school, and the streets were empty. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to like ride my bike through this crosswalk even though it's red, because there's no one here. And I did. And then this old German guy across the street starts yelling at me. He's like, hey, no, like, wait till it's green, And I think also because he was more of like an older, like from the older generation, if it had been like another teenager my age, probably wouldn't have like had that reaction. But, follow the traffic signs, definitely. Don't think that you're above them like I did. One thing about traveling to Germany that surprises a lot of Americans, and this surprises me that it surprises them, it's like, if you do even the smallest amount of research, then you should know that public bathrooms, like restroom facilities, aren't as available for free in Europe, in Germany as well. And so if you're going to a restaurant or something, take advantage and use the bathroom while you're there. Because if you're eating somewhere, then like you're a guest and you can use the bathroom without having to pay. Most times, sometimes they'll have like a little plate there or something for you to leave a tip for the people who clean the bathroom. But a lot of times if you're like at a train station and you got to use the bathroom and you're traveling all day, then they have bathrooms there, but you'll have to pay. Usually it's €1 or 50 cents or something to use the bathroom. And I've talked to a lot of people that come back from trips to Europe and they're like, wow, like it just, wasn't all that. I thought the bathrooms weren't free. And like, that's not surprising. You should know. But also water is not, they don't have like free. If you're at a restaurant and you ask for water, then you're going to pay for water, because normally it's from a nice bottled water, and it's not just like from the tap. And so be prepared to pay for water, be prepared to pay for the bathroom, or just like plan your bathroom trips very carefully. And like, I'm going to eat lunch here, I'm going to use the bathroom there. And like, so that's something that I definitely recommend if you're traveling to Europe and to Germany as well. Take advantage of the trains and public transportation. I feel like when traveling, like I traveled to Europe with my family, and they wanted to just take a taxi everywhere, and I'm like, no, guys, like, wait, like the Straßenbahns, like the public transportation, the subway, the U-Bahn, like, it's very inexpensive and it's very easy to navigate as well. So take advantage of that. Trains are awesome. I love how you can just travel around anywhere with public transportation in Germany. It's pretty inexpensive, and it's a lot better than, and I feel like you see more of the people, you get a better feel for the country and the culture if you use public transportation the way that they do in Europe. So love that. If you're traveling to Germany, or to Europe, I mean, anywhere in general, but don't be intimidated by just like grocery shopping and getting food there, and then maybe like making it at your Airbnb or your hotel or wherever, or just like getting stuff for sandwiches, especially in Germany, because the bread, the meat, the cheese are so good, the top-notch quality. So that's a perfect lunch right there. Nice little picnic lunch that you could have. You don't need to break the bank on fancy restaurants, although they have good ones there as well. So whatever your budget is, there's a way to do it. Definitely. When I went over to Germany to work for an internship, I think one thing that it was a really big surprise at first, but I wish we did it like that here in the United States. I started my internship in May, and there's a ton of holidays in May, and I was assigned a project, and there was one person on that team that had all the information that I needed for the project, but she was on vacation for pretty much the entire month of May, and I kind of reached out to my supervisor and was like, hey, like, do we contact her? Like, she's out of the office, but like, is there an email that we could send? And they're like, no. Like, if you're on vacation, you're on vacation. Like, we do not contact them. Like, they're gone. And I just love that whole work-life separation, kind of like the balance that they've achieved there, where you don't live to work. You work so that you can live your life. And coming from like a very fast-paced American work culture where it's like, if you're on vacation, but like you're the only one with the information that this team needs to finish a project, like it's very accepted kind of in our culture to reach out, send them a text, send them an email, and like at their leisure they can get back to you, but just keeping them in the loop while they're out of the office. But from my experience working in Germany, that was very different. It was like, if you're on vacation, and like, we're just gonna let you go and enjoy your time, which I really admire that about the German and kind of just the European work culture in general too. They've achieved a much better balance between just like you're living your life and also working. Something else, maybe something that was kind of a culture shock to me when I first moved to Germany as an exchange student in high school. With my host family, they were like more of like quiet, reserved type people, and I come from a very loud, very expressive family, like 5 kids and pets everywhere, like it's always a mess. But that was another thing too. I came from like a very messy type of household, and my first experience in Germany, like everything was so clean, and I almost felt intimidated, like I can't touch anything because I'm gonna like ruin it or make it dirty, which it's not the case. You just like organize after yourself and clean up after yourself a lot more kind of strictly than I would do it with my own family. I think that was a bit of a cultural thing, and also more particularly for my host family as well. But they're also like a lot more quiet, a lot more reserved, and I found myself having to like, sometimes I can talk really loud, and I was like, gotta like bring down my volume a little bit. But that might have just been with my particular host family. One thing that I love about just European culture, German culture, living in Germany, living in Europe, is public transportation and just being able to walk everywhere. I've lived in big cities in Germany. I've lived in very, very small towns in Germany too. And as an exchange student, we would just bike. I would bike to school, and just love that you're able to bike to school and like come home for lunch and go back to school after lunch. Where I grew up in California, like if you tried to bike anywhere, you're about to like get run off a cliff. It's really dangerous just because like the roads are really windy. They're not built for bikers or anything. Hardly any sidewalks. And the distances are so long too, whereas in a smaller town in Europe and in Germany, it's just so lovely to be able to walk to the store, like you have your little bag, you walk to the store, you can go to grocery shopping, or just take a walk in, your backyard. I was very fortunate to live in some very beautiful areas of Germany as an exchange student. Like my backyard was just these beautiful rolling fields with a forest close by, and the Germans really do have a wonderful appreciation of nature as well. That I just love that about them. when I was serving as a volunteer representative for my church there as a missionary, me and my partner, my companion, my work companion at the time, we were just walking down the street and we were about to approach this man to, ask him, if he wanted to learn more about Jesus Christ, kind of thing. And we get rejected a lot on the streets as missionaries. You're very, very used to it. But before we could even approach this man, he just kind of crosses the street and shouts at us in German, "I believe in the German bank, the Deutsche Bank, and in toilet papers." Ich glaube an Klopapier und an der Deutsche Bank. It was just okay, have a great day, sir. And this is one thing I'll never forget. Yep, all right, that's one way to respond to solicitors if you... I just thought that was cute, a very funny response. Hi, it's nice to meet you in German. It's hallo, es freut mich, Sie kennenzulernen. And if you're just learning German, you might say that. Hello, es freut mich, Sie kennenzulernen. Oh, it just hurts to say it that way. Wenn ich etwas in den deutschen Leuten sagen könnten, das wäre wahrscheinlich vielen, 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 vielen Dank. Einfach all die deutschen Leute, mit denen ich gesprochen habe, sind so nett, so freundlich, so lieb einfach. Und wenn man neu in ein fremdes Land ist und die Kultur nicht kennt, die Sprache nicht kennt, einfach neu dort ist, dann hilft das so viel, wenn die Menschen dort auch nett und freundlich und lieb sind. Und ich fühle mich, als ob Deutschland meine zweite Heimat ist. Und das wäre nicht möglich, wenn ich nicht so viele positive Erfahrungen mit den deutschen Leuten hätte. Und bitte seien Sie immer so freundlich und nett und lieb, auch wenn amerikanische Touristen nicht so, wir sind nicht immer perfekt, aber das weiß ja doch jemand, also doch jeder. Und ja, einfach vielen, vielen Dank und sei immer so neugierig, so freundlich, so nett, so lieb, so hilfreich. Und ich glaube, wenn man nach Deutschland reist, ist das fast unmöglich, eine negative Erfahrung zu haben, wenn man die richtige Einstellung hat. Ja, ich liebe Deutschland, ich vermisse Deutschland auch sehr und ja, vielen Dank an alle Leute, die das möglich machen, dass Leute so wie ich so gute Erfahrungen in Deutschland haben können.